So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this same background that I had yesterday. But everything else I'm going to bring in is going to be pretty much brand new, okay? So what I did was I exported some TIFF files out of Photoshop. All right, and I'm doing one of the scenes from Star Wars because I like this scene. So I'm just going to import this. All right, you guys want to make sure that you have an event created for your, for whatever file you're working with, for your kinetic text rather, or your infographic. All right, so here's my TIFF files, my new ones that have been exported. They look pretty good, right? These are the ones that I did yesterday, okay? So you guys can export anything you want out of Photoshop, all right? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my file here to bring in. All right, so oh, it's not there. Where is it? All right, sorry, technical difficulty here. I just saw it like 2 seconds ago. Oh, here we go. All right, so normally I would go File, Import, and I would bring in this file right here. Instead, what I'm going to do is just drag this and drop it into Final Cut because, and it's essentially going to do the same thing that it did before, but I'm just bringing it in like this for sake of time. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully you guys be able to hear this. And I'm just moving my audio file over to the beginning. Okay, you can see what I've already done here is what we did yesterday. This is my texture, my background texture, and it's just kind of sitting there, and it's taking up space in the back. All right. Xavier.
He told me enough.
All right, so I just got to find the part that I want here.
Me. I am your father.
All right, so I'm doing that scene from Star Wars, the I am your father scene. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm going to go and I'm going to cut up this video footage. All right, just to the isolated portion that I want, which is something you guys need to do. Remember, yours is also going to be 30 to 45 seconds. Mine is only 5 seconds, so yours is going to be a little bit longer. All right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shrink up my background. Now, you guys can have multiple backgrounds. You don't have to stay with one, but I'm going to shrink up my background. I'm just going to bring it in here, and if I bring my playhead over and kind of match it up there, I can also hold down Shift and snap this thing onto that exact spot. All right, the reason being is you don't want any excess space over here full of video or audio when you export. Okay, so everything that is going to be your video should just be compiled to that left side there. Okay, another thing, just so you guys know, I don't remember if I talked about generators yet, but over here you have what's called your generators. And what these are basically like little custom like things like this one. If you kind of see what it does, it's just these like moving blobs. This one is a gradient. You have some textures that are preloaded in there. You have this underwater theme. You guys can use these, but I don't think they're like that great. The one that I use the most is going to be just a regular custom text, or I'm sorry, a custom generator. What custom generator does is it basically allows you to put in color. So say I wanted just a white background. I would hope that you guys would play around a little bit with maybe a more interesting texture. But if I clicked on this custom gradient or custom generator, I can go up to the controls for it and I can change what color that is. So that's a really easy way for you guys just to get something other than black. All right, so that's an option for you. Those, again, are your generators. And it's just located with this 3, 2, 1 countdown symbol right there. All right, so thanks. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of editing this out, right? Kind of getting stuff timed up. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to zoom in so I can actually see a couple things, right? I want to be able to see the waveform at the bottom, which is basically my audio. And I want to be able to see, like, a good portion of this because I'm really working pretty small spaces. So right now, let's find out what it says at first.
I am your father.
Okay, and I'm just using spacebar to start and stop. So right about here is where I hear this sound start coming in. Now, if you guys aren't already using this, you see this little audio check mark right here? That thing is your audio skimming so that I can hear audio while I edit, while I just kind of skim through. You can turn that on and off. I find it very annoying when I'm not doing stuff with it, so I turn it off. All right, but now, watch what happens. Now I can play through that. I don't know if you guys have been using that or not, but I turn that off when I'm not using it. So I want to find exactly where that no sound is. All right, what I'm doing is I'm just hovering. So it's right about there. So what I'm going to do is click, or I'm going to go up here so I can get on the gray spot at the top, and then I'm going to click so that my playhead stops right there. All right, the reason I did that, that's exactly the point where that one word stops or starts. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my playhead there so I know where to drop my text in. Okay, that's just the word no, because he says, no, I'm your father. All right, so right there, that line right there is exactly where I want to start. You have to click in the gray area, otherwise it will not create that playhead or move your playhead to that spot. Okay, so I clicked right there. Now, for annoying sake, I'm going to turn off the audio for a second. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to get my first word and bring it in. So I'm going into my T, into my type tool, and I'm going to go into one of the types that I want to use. I personally recommend you guys using custom for everything, because custom, you can tell it exactly what to do, color, shape, everything, movement. So I use custom for everything. But some of these are like preloaded. So you can see this one has movement. I've seen people use that successfully too. I'm just saying, for really what we want to do, which is not a karaoke thing, okay, we want to see movement, we want to see change, use custom. So I'm going to drag my custom text out, and I'm going to drop it right at that playhead spot. You see right there. Okay, and then it's a little bit long, so I'm going to go and I'm just going to shrink it down by grabbing the edge and bringing it back. All right, now I want to find out where that no ends. So, all right, so it's right there. And I'm going to say I'm not going to have it fade away right away. I'm going to have it fade away. Let's see. So there's where he starts saying I. I'm going to have it end its fade right there. Okay, so right here, now I need to go in. I need to customize this text. So he says no right there. So I need to click on this text, go up to text, and put in the text. No. I'm going to blow this up as big as I can get it. You can mess around with anything here. Like, I can change the style of it and all that good stuff. I'm going to keep it pretty simple for this case. All right, in my opinion right now, though, it's not big enough. So what I'm going to do is turn on my transform control, and I'm also going to make it larger here. So I'm basically just expanding this as much as I can. Another way to do this is you can go into video over here, and you can use scale under transform. So you don't have to go out here and actually manually move it. So right there, that's what my text is going to look like when he says this. So here, let's see what it looks like. All right, now, I want it to be a little bit more than just popping up, right? So I'm going to have it pop up, and what I'm going to have it do is fade away into where he says, like, I am your father. Okay, how I'm going to do that? I'm going to use keyframing. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to say I want it to fade away. It's going to end at this spot. I'm going to start having it fade away right, let's see. Right here, it's going to start fading away. So I have that text clicked, all right? I'm selected on it. How would I fade something out? What setting in what setting in my controls do you think I would use? John, get off your iPad, dude. This is a project. You're going to have to take out your headphones. Okay. What thing would I use to fade it out? I could use a transition, but I could also manually do it. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, nobody knows, all right? I'm going to use what's called my compositing. So right here, compositing, I have it clicked on that text. If I change my opacity level, it disappears, right? So what I'm going to say is I have my playhead at the spot where I want it to start to fade away. So under compositing, I'm going to say, all right, right there, you're going to be at 100%, totally visible. Then I'm going to move it, and I'm going to say by the time it gets to here, it's going to be at 0. So I'm going to create another keyframe there just by adding that plus, and I'm going to make it go to 0. So let's see what this looks like now. Okay, you see how it fades out. Okay, now if I want to open this up and I want to change that a little bit, maybe I want that thing to happen a little bit longer, I can right-click it and say show video animation. Sorry about the zoom-in issues here. And let's see. Here's my compositing. Right there is my first keyframe I made. Here's my last keyframe. So if I wanted that to last longer, I can move those keyframe points. All right, I can also go and I can change them if I needed to. So let's see what it looks like now. All right. So the I starts, let's see, about... All right, see how right here I just turned on my audio skimming and it's not working? If that happens, go out of the project and just open it back up. Okay, I don't know why, it's just a glitch in the program. Okay, so what I'm going to do here... All right, so right there is where he starts saying, I am your father. So, again, I'm going to put my playhead there. Take my custom text. Slide it out. Okay, I'm going to go start editing it. Say, I size all the way up. Go to video, transform. I'm going to take that size and put it all the way up. Maybe I also want to change the color. So I'm going to go back to the text option there, and I'm going to go to face, and I'm going to change the color here. So we'll go with like a yellow. And then I'm just going to move it so it's fully visible. Now there's more words that are going to start here. I'm going to say for this one, I'm just going to have it pop up and not do anything right away. So let's see what that's going to look like.
I am your father.
All right, so I'm going to have the I last for quite a bit, and then the am starts right about here. All right, so I'm just going to guess just for the sake of time. It's about there. All right, here I go. I'm going to bring in another piece of text. All right, I'm just going to place it there. And I'm going to go back, shrink this up. There it is. Okay, so I'd go in and I could customize this one. Another way that's going to make this even easier for you guys, instead of going in and every time having to like go and resize stuff, okay, watch. Say I wanted the start time here. I can also option click this text and just copy it up. All right, so now it's the same size and same color. Let's see here. And now I can just go customize it. So that's the word am. All right, I go get it, and I'm going to move it over, and that's going to be popping up as well. Let's see here. It's a little bit too large, so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to change the scale of that one. All right, and then I'm going to go up to text. I'm going to change the face of this one. So this one's going to be like this light green color. Why? I don't know. The color's not really like important right now. I'm just kind of showing you guys how to change it. Okay, so now with the I. So the I says its part. Okay, I would have the your father then also be stacking like this. So this would then, oops. I would then maybe option click this one and do the same kind of idea here. So there's your. Okay, now that's copied. I can move that into place. All right, now watch how I'm going to keyframe these things together. Okay, so it plays.
I am your father.
All right, there's just 3 words. I'm not going to do more because I just want to like save some time for you guys. All right, but the timing's looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to have this stuff actually move in. So for the am, I'm going to say, all right, at the beginning, remember, it's important that we know I'm at the beginning of this clip and that L bracket is showing. Okay, if that L bracket's not showing, I'm not on the first visual of am. Okay, so that L bracket's showing, I'm good to go. All right, I'm going to create a keyframe, and I'm going to say at the beginning there, it's going to be off screen here. Then, right here, I'm going to create another keyframe, and I'm going to drop it in. So you can see how that's moving. All right, so let's see what that looks like now.
I am your father.
See how stuff is moving in, right? Okay, maybe at some point then, all this stuff is going to move off screen. All right, so maybe at this point, I want it to stay there for a little bit, and then by the time it gets to here, it's going to move off screen. So now I'm telling it to go off. Now, a couple people had this issue yesterday. Watch what's going to happen. It's going to drop in, it's going to stop, and it's going to move a little bit, and then go off screen. Watch what I'm talking about here.
I am your father.
See how it shifts over slightly? It had this weird little red line get created, okay? And what that is it's actually a Bezier curve that you can go in and edit. So I'll show you guys how to do this. So I'm on that frame. I want to go to that exact part. And I'm just going to move. Oop, not that. I want to get a hold of this thing. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. So you can see that line, how it's moving there. All right. I want to change that so that it doesn't do that. Oh, come on. And it's more difficult than it looks. Let's see if I can get it. So what I'm trying to do here is click this thing so it'll change. There we go. Okay, you see the difference there? I know it's really hard for some of you guys in the back. Okay, that blue circle is my transform control for rotate. The red circles, though, are the ones that control that, that red line. So what I'm trying to do is get a hold of that so that that thing doesn't swing out. Okay, so these are going to control the path of that movement. You see how, like, I can make it dip down first, all right? So I want to get that all back into place so that this piece of text doesn't move at all anymore from that point. All right, let's see what it does now. It might not have worked, but I'm just showing you guys that's how you guys
I
can.
am your father.
All right, and that time I think I messed it up worse than I actually did before. I'll just go. You can also delete these frames out here too. Let's see. All right, so here's a couple of my frames. All right, right there. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, it's all crazy right there. So you guys can go in and edit these points. It's kind of tricky though. Let's see, that might do it.
To the Father.
All right, so better, but I could do better still, all right? So I just want to show you guys right there, okay? I'm having this stuff not just stay on screen. It pops up,
To the Father.
and then it does something, okay? So maybe the your, right? That's going to pop up, and then at some point, I'm going to have it start to rotate off. So here, it's just going to, let's say, rotate, and then this point, make a new keyframe and move off screen. All right, so let's see what this looks like now. All right, I promise this is all important to what we're going to be doing.
To the Father. Say.
All right, so there's more stuff at the end. All right, so you can kind of see how I'm starting to edit this stuff. So it's not just popping up. Yeah, the stay what part, all right? It's not just popping up. It's moving over time. I might even have this stuff get larger over time, all right? Here's another important thing I have not talked about yet. Everybody, make sure you guys are paying attention. Blake, are you watching? Turn your screen, dude. You got here late. Okay, Jonas, you too. All right, you guys see how this stuff is all getting stacked on top of one another. That's normal, all right? You're going to have potentially like 15 different words on screen at once. It just depends on what yours actually looks like. What you can do, though, is after you finish a portion, you can drag select it. So I just selected all three of those in yellow. What I'm going to do is right-click and say New Compound Clip. All right, watch what this is going to do. New Compound Clip, I'm going to say first part. You just title it something, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, all of that is now condensed into this blue chunk. So I don't have all that stacking. So once I finish a part, I can condense it. All right, if I want to open it back up, I have to click on it, and I think I have to go up to Clip and break apart clip items. All right, Antonio, don't pass out on me yet because this is important. You guys are going to be doing a project on this. So there, now it's back to normal. The nice thing about that, okay, this stuff is all edited.
To the Father.
All right, to do what it's going to do, but now I could also keyframe this whole chunk. All right, so watch what I'm going to do here. That whole chunk, I'm going to say, all right, at this point, everything on this chunk is going to get larger. So from there to here, all that stuff's going to grow. All right, or if I wanted it to happen sooner, then I could do it like that as well. So let's watch it now.
To the Father. Say.
Okay. So if you wanted to keyframe everything at once, you can condense it into one big chunk and then do something to it. The only bad part is, you saw that I just made all that stuff get bigger. All right, I keyframed it all individually, then I made it all get bigger as one chunk. If I go and I break this part, or break this clip item apart, it's going to undo that stuff. Okay, so now that stuff doesn't get larger anymore. It still keyframes its original stuff, but it takes off that thing you did as one compound clip. Okay, so that's a new, completely new thing. We've talked about the other stuff, already before, but I wanted to kind of, just talk about how to use that. Okay, so all these parts, the text, you're going to use the same way as you guys do your graphics. So I have these like graphics I made for it. I'm not going to do this for you because I've already shown you, but you would do that the exact same way, right? Okay, you just drop these in and you would time those up to do whatever they're going to do on screen. Move across, spin, what have you. All right, what questions do you guys have, if any, that I can go over again? Yeah.
Which is like